Round 2 semis, one step closer. Focus like a championship team is supposed to. One round gone and there's 2 more to go. Semis in the finals, then straight to the show. Round 2 clash with Bibby and Nash. Van Exel versus Christie, C-Web versus Nowitzki. Sacramento Kings are a team on a mission. C-Web's coming down the lane. Listen, ESPN, EA, ESPN, EA, ESPN, EA.
Just 48 hours ago, these same fans were filing out of American Airlines Center after Dallas was extended to 7 games by Portland. Now it's round 2. Western Conference semifinals, game 1. The matchup the same as a year ago. Sacramento Kings in here against the Dallas Mavericks. Hi, everybody. I'm Brad Nessler. We welcome you to this matchup that should be something else. These two teams, when they get together, point-wise, about 234 points a game. I don't think we're going to have a lack of power. We didn't in the regular season either. If you take a look at the games, one was a blowout. The rest were as tight as you could get, including the overtime win by the Mavs in the 4th and final regular season matchup. My partner, as always, is Bill Walton. Big fella, let's talk about big fellas. Last year, Sacramento just demolished Dallas with dunks and layups. It wasn't necessarily always the big guys doing the dunking and the layups, but they are great players, Weber and Divac.
It's their overwhelming firepower for the Sacramento Kings that makes them such championship favorites here. And the big guy's ability to pass that ball around separates them from any team in the NBA. It starts with Vlade Divac. Yes, they have guys who can move without the ball. And then Chris Webber, who plays like a guard. Everybody, the high-low interchanges with Keon Clark throwing it down. The creativity, the imagination. But it's also about guys who can fill it up from the perimeter. And for the Sacramento Kings, it's Peja Stojakovic, who in the regular season was absolutely phenomenal, killing the Dallas Mavericks, and in the Utah Jazz series, he was marvelous. Dirk Nowitzki, who led the playoffs in scoring for so long, in Game 7 against the Blazers, played the whole game, 31 points. These two guys will be matched up head-to-head. Which one comes out on top could very well determine the ebb and flow of this series.
All right, we talked about the big guys. Let's get the little guys some love. You talk about the guards in this series as far as starters and backups, probably not better combinations than these two teams have.
It's often said in basketball that it's not how big you are, it's how big you play. Well, in this series, you got little guys who play like giants. Mike Bibby and Bobby Jackson, the guys that make it go. They create everything. They play the defense. Steve Nash, Nick Van Exel, these are the guys who play at one end of the court. For this to work for the Dallas Mavericks, those little guys on the right, Van Exel and Nash, they're going to have to play some defense. They just can't let Bibby and Jackson and everybody else for Sacramento come down the lane, or it's not going to work.
Talked about the big guys, the little guys. We maybe have to look at an X factor. Everybody expects Sacramento to waltz through this again. How can Dallas stop them?
If Dallas is to have a chance, Sean Bradley and Rafe LaFrentz have to play better than they've ever played before. And when you look at the matchup of these two guys against the 4 big guys for Sacramento, you're talking about Bradley and LaFrentz being bigger, being younger, being quicker, being more athletic, being faster, can jump higher. They got to quit playing like the goons, quit the inconsistencies that have kept them out so much. They've got to play basketball like they've never played before for Dallas to have a chance.
Dallas in a 7-game series has never lost a game 1 at home. Sacramento in a 7-game series has never won game 1 on the road. Will that hold form tonight? Dallas fans are hoping so. Mavericks, Kings, Western Conference semifinal when we come back.
ESPN's presentation of the NBA playoffs, brought to you by Budweiser, delivering beer at its best with a crisp, clean, and refreshing taste known only to the king of beers. And MasterCard. There are some things money can't buy. For everything else, there's MasterCard.
American Airlines Center, we get set for the Kings and the Mavericks. We also get set for the third man on our team, David Aldridge. D.A.
Rafe LaFrentz, what do you and Sean and Eddie do to stop the passing of Weber and Divac?
They're outstanding passers, obviously, probably two of the best in the game. You know, we just have to keep our hands active, stay close to their body, and try and get as many deflections as possible.
What did winning Game 7 do for this team?
You know, hopefully it gave us a lot of momentum. It was a great environment, great place to play, great game. We were able to pull it out, and hopefully we can carry that into the second series.
Confident against this bunch? You confident against this team this year?
Without a doubt. You know, we got a great bunch of players, too. We know they're a great team, but we have confidence in our guys.
Great. Thanks very much. Good luck to you. Back to you, Brad.
We'll see if Dallas is sharp, if Sacramento's rusty, and how long will that last? Sacramento Kings, the Dallas Mavericks. Mark Cuban, Gavin Maloof, having fun now. They might not later. We'll be back with a tip in a moment. Sold out American Airlines Center, where Dallas went 36-9 on their home floor this year. As we take a look at our Bud Light starting lineups for this Game 1 Western Conference semifinal. Here's how it looks. Stojakovic, Divac, and Weber up front for Sacramento. Nahara, LaFrentz, and Dirk Nowitzki for Dallas. The backcourts, we talked a little bit about them already. Bibby and Nash, Christie, and Michael Finley.
With all the pressure on Sacramento, with all the pressure on Dallas, we talked to Don Nelson about what the factors would be to win this series. Pick and roll defense. They're going to have to change it up time and time again because Sacramento's pick and roll defense is unique. They run it in so tight to the elbows. He also talked to Don Nelson about the job that Eddie Nahara is going to have to do on Chris Weber. Rick Adelman, on the other hand, their biggest problem is going to be overconfidence. They have handled Dallas so regularly and so easily. Even though the games have been close, they win them all.
Yep.
At some point, they got to say, how many times do we have to beat these little guys from Dallas before we can move on and play the Lakers?
Dallas has only won 2 of the last 9 against Sacramento dating back to last season. As we said, the regular season went to the Kings 3-1, and the one that Dallas did win was in overtime when Steve Nash hit a shot with 2.5 to go to send it to OT, and then hit 4 buckets in overtime to help Dallas win. It was Keon Clark basically that won the other 2 games for Sacramento on final second shots. Dallas controls the tip. We're underway in Texas.
Don Nelson also said he wanted to attack Mike Bibby. Bibby has had his way with Steve Nash. Wants Nash to go right at him and get it back.
Here's the Dallas pick and roll. LaFrentz taking a 3 from outside. Nash on Christie. Weber looked back door with one hand and then around. Nahara got his own rebound and scored easily.
That's exactly the way Sacramento started this series a year ago. And beautiful use by Chris Weber of the ball fake for a pass.
Right, with one hand.
Tim Duncan might want to incorporate that against Robert Horry in the other Western semifinal.
Here's Nowitzki from the elbow over Bibby.
Hard to believe that when you have Dirk Nowitzki, you would have Rafe LaFrentz take the first shot of the game.
That's right. Nowitzki, who had 31 in the deciding game against Portland, to go with his 10 rebounds.
And a foul on Nahara inside. Going to be a lot of contact there, and Nahara certainly without the reputation of a Chris Weber, of a Tim Duncan, of a Dirk Nowitzki, all of them announced to the All-NBA team today, going to have his work cut out for him, has to stay out of foul trouble.
Vlade Divac will take it straight away from 18, and the rebound is Nash. Steve looking to run a little bit. LaFrentz trying to leave it for Nahara. Did. Nice pass.
Nahara will be able to contribute. He doesn't have the athleticism, the size, and the strength of the rest of the Giants in this game. His positioning, his hustle will be his keys.
Gonna be a nice crossover dribble. Finley cut him off with the pass. Now it's Stojakovic. 3. He's shooting 61% from three-point land against Dallas. Actually just went up a little bit with that shot.
I want to see a horse game between Dirk and Peja.
That might last forever. Here's Dirk, nice feed, Nahara, and the lead for LaFrentz. He gave it to him last time. He returns the favor this time.
Beautiful ball movement. Sacramento's a better defensive squad than Dallas. They're going to want to have to play better man-to-man defense.
That's Weber's shot. That, the jump hook, but he's pretty unstoppable from right there.
Any worries about Sacramento being rusty certainly put to rest early.
I guess so.
Bibby told us early, he said, look, we've been sitting around too long.
Time to play. Nahara inside. Foul by Divac.
In the open, we talked about big men passing that basketball. Who better than Vlade and Weber? But right now, it's Rafe LaFrentz and Eduardo Nahara making it happen. The interchange between postmen moving without the ball. The ability of guys to flash into that high post lane. And now even Nowitzki, a noted gunner who never gives it up, getting into the act.
Nahara missed a chance for the three-point play. All of Dallas's field goals coming off assists, so they have moved the ball around well. Here's Weber on the low block. Nahara trying to stay with him. That's a tough matchup. He did miss the jump hook, though, and Finley the rebound.
Nice pass.
Nahara, I don't know. I think he thought he was going to go behind the back. Got caught in midair and turned it over. Now it's Bibby. Peja outside. And Weber, or rather Christie. Nice weak side position for the rebound. Bibby's wide open. Three. Got it.
Guards on the offensive glass. Doug Christie, one of the best in the league. His numbers are way down from the Utah series, but don't let that mislead you. Doug Christie not needed against Utah, really not needed against the Dallas Mavericks. They need him for Los Angeles.
Finley on a turnaround over Bibby. Both teams hot to start. We're tied at 10.
Is there a shot clock in this game?
I don't think we need it. Just turn it off.
Beautiful pass, Bibby.
Cross court, Stojakovic, kick out to Christie. He will try some offense and got it.
Dirk Nowitzki has got to play better defense on Peja Stojakovic. Peja's catching the ball with nobody within 10 feet of him. Inexcusable for Dirk.
Well, he's the two-time three-point champion from the All-Star game. You can't obviously leave him open. Finley, and he was looking for a foul on Weber. No call, out of bounds. And Michael pleading his case to Dan Crawford.
Ball movement leading to wide open shots. The penetration, the dish. Doug Christie, often a reluctant shooter. That's a great sign for Ed Edelman.
Divac, great feed from Bibby. And Vlade on the board. All the starters have scored for Sacramento as they mix it up and they go to a 4-point lead. There's what I was talking about. 235 almost per game combined during the regular season. And we're on that kind of pace. Block shot by LaFrentz. Out of bounds to Dallas.
At what point does the adrenaline wear off for Dallas? The excitement of the crowd, you can feel it. Now the fans believe. They didn't believe in here on Sunday against Portland at the beginning of that game. And by the end, they were convinced. Right now, though, they're running on pure emotion, the Mavericks. That won't last forever.
Portland led that game going to the fourth quarter by 2, so the doubts were there maybe by these fans until the very fourth quarter. We were tied with 3 minutes to play in that game. And then the shooting of Finley and Nash and company, and Dirk Nowitzki took over, and that's how Dallas got here. Otherwise, we might be in Sacramento tonight.
And Sabonis fouled out. The Blazers missed key free throws down the stretch.
Stojakovic, great lead for Vlade on the baseline, and he takes Rafe LaFrentz up in the air and to the floor.
LaFrentz, a good shot blocker off the ball. Not necessarily so when he's guarding his own man. But with LaFrentz waiting at the basket area, almost the kind of play with Vlade not being a high flyer and riser, let him go by, let him double clutch, and then when he brings the ball into you, poke it away.
Vlade Divac averaging just about 10 points a ball game and 7 rebounds in the playoffs. Goes to the free throw line where he's much improved from a year ago, and he rips that one. Log on to NBA.com for the exclusive 2003 playoff section featuring live post-game press conferences, photo galleries, video highlights, and a lot more. Love it live on NBA.com. Vlade shooting 75% from the free throw line in the playoffs, up from 71 in the regular season and way up from 62 a year ago, and he gives Sacramento its biggest lead.
Vlade at the point in his career was all about the winning. No longer statistics, no longer individual honors. And like Christie, much more of a factor against teams like the Lakers and San Antonio than against the Dallas Mavericks and the Utah Jazz.
Stojakovic got great position on that rebound in front of Nowitzki, and now here he is on the offensive end on a runner, and it's 8 straight points for Sacramento. They lead 18-10.
Nash needs to create. Bibby's been able to keep him under control. Nowitzki's got to get some open looks.
Here's Steve for 3. Off the mark, though, and Stojakovic another rebound in the very same spot he corralled the last one.
The mental and physical fatigue from a 7-game series, just finishing 48 hours ago. You got to come down before you can get back up. The Mavericks aren't there yet.
And Weber and company itching to play and proving it. Wow, what a start for the Kings. Timeout. Don Nelson seen enough. With 6:17 remaining, it was tied at 10 a few moments ago, and then Sacramento rips off 10 straight points in the last 2 minutes and 17 seconds, including Chris Weber, who's off to a 6-point start to lead the way for the Kings.
This update brought to you by Taco Bell. Check in on the Sixers and Pistons. Kevin Frazier, Greg Anthony, and the Sixers were turnover problems, but AI having no problems. 15 points for Allen Iverson. Meanwhile, Clifford Robinson also flowing. There was a 19-minute delay where the lights were out in this game, Greg. Pistons with the lead, 43-38.
Here's Sacramento, a 10-point run and a 10-point lead, 20-10, 6:17. We talked about the pick and roll and how important it would be for both teams. The officials pretty aware of that too. Listen to Dan Crawford on Court Sounds.
Yeah, I told him to make sure he doesn't pivot you out of the play, okay? Hey, you guys make sure you do the same on your pick and roll the same way. Hey, Dirk, remember I told you about that one, okay?
Both teams heavily reliant on the screen and roll. The high screen this time by Rafe LaFrentz. Dan Crawford wants that big man to hold his position. And as a guy setting a screen, you don't worry about anything other than coming to a dead stop and let your offensive man who's coming off that screen do all the work.
So Dallas looking for some point production here. After a nice start, it's been all Sacramento. Finley way off balance, but he did draw a foul. And he'll get to the free throw line for it.
Flying into town last night with Mrs. Bertha Finley.
Is that right?
It was
right.
She was telling me all about Michael growing up as a kid. Very quiet, almost like he is today. And when Michael went off to the University of Wisconsin, she drove. You know, Michael is from Chicago, went to Proviso East High School, the same high school as Doc Rivers.
Not that far to Madison from there.
She would drive to every Big Ten game he played for 4 years.
That's
great.
She
never missed a single game by car. It was so much fun. She lives, Mrs. Bertha Finley, in her house with her mother. Her daughter, Michael's older sister by 10 years, lives right across the street, and the other daughter lives just 4 blocks away. What a close-knit family having the time of their life. Mrs. Finley is here now for the duration of the playoffs. She'll be traveling on to Sacramento for the rest of this series.
Bertha, it's nice to have you with us. Even though you're not hearing this, you'll hear about it, I'm sure, from your friends. Michael missed the first and missed the second.
And Bertha, Michael is her youngest son at 30 or whatever he is. Bertha just adopted the cutest little 4-year-old boy you've ever seen. Carl, who was on the plane as well.
I love that. What Dallas won't love right now is what Sacramento's doing as Weber just hammered one down. It's 12 straight Sacramento points.
They come with Nick Van Exel. They've come with Sean Bradley.
Nowitzki now trying to drive and trying to go over the top of Divac to throw it in.
Chris Weber is having his way. Whatever he wants, wide open. Sean Bradley very late to rotate over.
There's the reaction.
Dirk Nowitzki trying to get above the crowd to throw it down. But Vlade Divac, the savvy veteran, knows that you got to meet the guy outside of where he wants to take off from.
He's not going to. He's not going to lay in the air that long.
The whole key as a shot blocker is not to have it be a match of athleticism. I mean, Dirk has got just tons over Vlade on that. But if you position yourself properly and just meet him a half an inch out, further away from where he wants to jump, then he's going to be hesitant on his explosion.
So Vlade will sit down with a second foul as Nowitzki got the 2 free throws. Dirk with 4. And finally, that snaps the long drought. Really wasn't that long a drought. It's just that Sacramento piled up so many points so quickly.
But Keon Clark can play so well. He's got the 2 game winners in the Kings victories here.
Bibby missed that one. And Nash off the backside. Dallas has missed its last 4 shots. Let's see if Van Exel can warm them up. Not that time. Weber the rebound.
The bad sign for Dallas is that Bibby's done nothing on the offensive end, and they're still ahead by 10.
He cross court, passes it to Stojakovic, and Peja knocks it down from the outside. He has 7.
This is too easy. Anything they want, whether it's Weber, whether it's Stojakovic, Christie's getting jumpers.
Looks like they're just toying with him right now.
Talked earlier about Sacramento being bored with him. I think that might be their biggest problem. Nice pass.
Sean Bradley on the catch from Dirk Nowitzki.
How about a pick and roll between those two guys?
Yeah, 7 to 7-6.
But Sean is very tall, and Dirk is taller than I am, and I'm one of the taller ones at 6'11".
Field goal drought of over 4 minutes. Here's a steal by Van Exel. Victor was sensational against Portland in that 7th deciding game in round 1 the other day. Here's Finley going inside.
And a beautiful screen by Sean Bradley. Held his position, didn't get involved in anything with his elbows locked up with Weber. Weber could make no defensive play.
Back-to-back baskets by the Mavericks now. They pulled to within 8, 4 minutes and change remaining first quarter.
Oh, horrendous switch defensively by Mag.
Here's Weber throwing it over Sean Bradley. That one had eyes.
A tough call against Bradley there, but he bailed out. When Weber has the ball in the low post after receiving the ball on a nice pass, see, Bradley's arms are way up too soon. Keep those arms at your shoulders, at the height and level of the ball that Weber has. And then when the shot goes, then you go up and poke it away.
Weber will try to make it a 3-point play. As he does, let's check in with David Aldridge. D.A.?
Guys, the Kings spent the last 5 days after they beat Utah practicing against each other, beating each other up. They spent the whole time practicing Dallas. They just assumed they were going to play the Mavericks. And when it got tight at 3-3, some of the veteran players were getting a little grumpy because they said they didn't want to waste all that time doing Dallas stuff. They had to turn around and play Portland. So they were very happy to see the Mavericks close it out in 7, guys.
That makes all that homework a little more worthwhile.
And then in Sacramento on Sunday, the Sacramento Kings all watched the game separately at their homes. And then when the game was over, they all came to the practice site in Sacramento and then had the practice before flying down last night. The Kings obviously ready, healthy, and primed.
Boy, they have looked so sharp here early. Up by 11. Nash all the way on the baseline trying to leave it in the paint for either Finley or Bradley, and it's a loose ball turnover. Sacramento right now shooting 65%. It's going to go up because Weber is just dominating right now.
Phenomenal start for Chris Weber. Don Nelson so frustrated, so disappointed. Why would you go for that pump fake, though, when you're Sean Bradley at 7'6"?
Mavericks have 16 points. Weber has 13 for Sacramento. Here's Bradley on the baseline on the dish from Nash. And Stojakovic, another rebound. He's done a nice job on the boards.
The long rebounds are going to Peja and to Doug Christie.
Peja for 3. Boy, that could have been a dagger in the gut right there. It's a 13-point lead as it is.
Dirk's not having his way the way he did against Portland.
No, he's not. Trying to get around Keon Clark. Missed the shot, drew the foul. But right now, it's the Chris Weber show. Seems like a guy pretty anxious to play basketball after sitting since last Wednesday.
He's right-handed. And I bet he will be right-handed throughout the course of this entire series.
Tonight on SportsCenter, when the game's over, we're not finished. Much more from the Motor City. Can the Royals catch the Tigers? And Dallas looks to play King for a day at SportsCenter after the game on ESPN.
Sacramento Kings right now with the lead 29-16. And Bill, they're just having their way with Dallas.
The perimeter shooting has been flawless. No rust whatsoever. The effortless delivery, the ball movement. Dallas has been soundly criticized for years about not playing any defense. Tonight we are seeing that come true. Peja Stojakovic, and then Chris Weber, all he has to do is just raise his eyebrows. Sean Bradley goes wild, and then Chris throws it down the shot chart.
12 for 19. Wow. There's a lot of greens and not many reds in there, I'll tell you that much. 63% for Sacramento.
No need to say make a shot here.
No.
These guys are stroking it.
Gavin and Joe Maloof, part of the ownership group of the Maloof family. And Gavin and Joe spent the day in Chicago taping Oprah Winfrey's show.
How much fun would that be?
Joe says she got a little personal about his personal life. So that, for Sacramento fans, I think it airs May 16th, which I believe is a week from Friday. So if you want to watch that, those two guys, fun to be around, obviously.
But how cool would that be?
Yeah.
To listen to Oprah and Joe and Gavin talk about life.
I got to watch that one. Nowitzki hits the 2 free throws. Dirk has 6, but only 1 field goal to show for it so far.
We're told by David Aldridge out of the timeout that the Mavericks are going to start changing up their defense, maybe come with some zone here. Right now, whatever they're trying is not working.
Look more like an O-zone defense so far.
Bobby Jackson.
Bobby's the only one who's missed anything. The 6th man of the year.
He's just getting started. Don't worry about Bobby Jackson.
They'll warm up. Nowitzki, outside shot, doesn't go. And Bobby's got the rebound. Jackson was runner-up for 6th man of the year last season and won it in the announcement made this past week.
Bobby's the kind of guy that plays his best when they're behind.
Stojakovic, a pick and roll at Weber, and now it's Jackson. He'll try it again. In and out that time. Nowitzki the rebound. Here comes another guy that is obviously one of the best 6 men in the business, Van Exel. They're going to need him to warm up. And they're going to stay this far behind. And instant offense, not quite that time. In and out.
Like last year, the Sacramento Kings appear to be physically superior and just more mature, much stronger than the Dallas Mavericks.
Jackson leaves it for Clark way up in the air with those long arms, and Keon's got his first basket.
Dallas guards are allowing penetration. Bibby, Christie, Bobby Jackson. Consider Stojakovic a guard, if you will. They're just putting the ball on the floor 1 or 2 times and then kicking it to a guy who's wide open.
How do you stop him?
You got to play contained defense on the perimeter. That's the guard's responsibility.
Walt Williams, who hasn't seen that much time, but they need some firepower, and he is a guy that can score. Walt with his first basket.
A rare sighting for the Wizard.
Yeah. Here's Clark, and he's matched up against Williams. Keon will take the outside shot this time. Rebound is Nowitzki's. And here's the matchup Bill talked about in the pregame. Nowitzki and Stojakovic. Dirk trying to back him in. Finger roll. Got it.
Stojakovic has improved dramatically as a defensive player, but when Dirk is playing his game, nobody can stop him. Dallas has a foul to give right here.
Final 35 seconds, first quarter. Weber one-handed.
Oh,
goes back door to Stojakovic.
Throw it down, Peja. Throw it down.
And what a nice dish by Weber.
That is so much fun to watch. And when you're playing with guys who can lay it off like that, why wouldn't you burst to the basket with change of pace, change of direction flashes?
Nash will take a high arching shot over Weber. Steve Nash first basket.
But Nash has really had no impact. No penetration, no creativity, no ability to set up his teammates. A couple of baskets, yeah, but he's got to be basically phenomenal, Steve Nash.
Weber. Kick out to Christie. Stojakovic for 3 at the buzzer. Boy, good-looking play. They didn't get the shot, but you can't draw it any better than that.
Such beautiful basketball. Everybody involved. Why go for pump fakes on Chris Weber when he's that far away from the hoop?
So all Sacramento in the first quarter. We were tied at 10-10, and then the Kings took over on the road. And Dallas finds itself in a hole at the end of one on their home floor. Sacramento shot 56%. Weber led the way with 13. End of the first quarter. 33-24. Sacramento beats the Mavericks. Set to start the second quarter at American Airlines Center. Dallas in a big hole already, 33-24. They shot pretty well, but they only got 19 shots, whereas the Kings got 25 and shot 56%. Dallas just chasing people out there, Bill, on defense.
Never mistake activity for achievement. Keep an eye on Dirk Nowitzki, who jumps out on the pick and roll. Why double team Doug Christie and leave Chris Weber all alone? That just allows perfect ball movement. And Dirk Nowitzki is caught in no man's land, not guarding anybody. Everybody else having to scramble. Sacramento ends up with a 6-foot jump hook that Keon Clark will never miss.
Dallas has got to figure out a better defensive strategy. They look like a dog chasing their tail right now.
At this level, you've got to be able to play man-to-man defense without double teaming, without gimmicks. basically saying, look, I'm going to keep my man in front of me. I'm going to make him take a tough shot, and I'm going to make him make that tough shot time and time again.
Turkoglu and Jim Jackson have joined the Kings lineup now.
Oh, what a pass by Christie.
Keon Clark around Nowitzki. Didn't get it, but he drew a foul.
We're seeing Rick Adelman's decision here to attack Dirk Nowitzki. Wherever Dirk is, they're just putting that ball on that side of the court and counting on Dirk gambling, jumping to conclusions, and being out of position, and it's working.
Keon Clark will go to the free throw line. Going to take a look at what we got coming up for you Thursday right now. NBA playoffs continue. Doubleheader on ESPN. Iverson and the Sixers and company against Detroit at 7 at 9:30. Bill and David and I will be right back here in Dallas. That's Thursday, NBA playoffs on ESPN.
What an addition Keon Clark has been. And he's a free agent again at the end of this year.
I don't know why you wouldn't want to play with this team, though, huh?
Oh, absolutely. It's so much fun. The ownership, the depth of the team, no individual agendas.
Finley over Jim Jackson, missed the shot. Walt Williams, nice hustle to keep it alive. Van Exel, good crossover. Nick found a little opening finally.
Nick's having to do it all by himself, as he did for most of Game 7 Sunday against Portland, while Sacramento comes up. Sacramento's playing so well, they've gone to Hedo Turkoglu, who rarely plays.
Last year he did over 10 points a game, just couldn't get a lot of time this year. Keon Clark, who Bill just talked about, has 6 points already.
Well, Keon Clark and Jim Jackson have taken away all his time, and Sacramento is a better team for it.
Keon has 6 points in 7 minutes. Van Exel got the roll again. Had to kind of wait on that one.
I would like to see Sacramento play at a pace, though, that still finds room for Hedo Turkoglu.
Bobby Jackson had it swatted away. Second Kings turnover. Dallas with a chance to capitalize. Close the gap a little bit here. Van Exel. Christie looked like he got him. Van Exel goes down. No foul called. Fans are looking for something. Jimmy Jackson on the other end buries a three. Boy, there's a killer of a turnaround.
What a team, forcing Don Nelson to take yet another timeout. And one of the real weaknesses for Dallas is that when they go deep to their bench with guys like Walt Williams and Adrian Griffin, they just can't play. Don Nelson begging to get a technical foul here, get some redemption if possible.
He wanted a foul on that shot by Van Exel, didn't get the call, and it's a 12-point Kings lead.
ESPN's presentation of the NBA playoffs, brought to you by Nissan and your local Nissan dealer. And Sprite, obey your thirst.
May or may not have been about a 6-point swing. Remember, there was a stop by Dallas that got a turnover. Nick Van Exel took the shot that Don Nelson definitely wanted a foul call on Doug Christie. This was outside the three-point line, too, Bill.
One of the great defenders in the league, Doug Christie, appears to have all ball early, but the quick follow-through, the snap of the wrist by Nick Van Exel forces the air ball. Nelson could not believe it.
That was his reaction as he took the timeout. And remember, Jimmy Jackson hit a three on the other end. That's why I said it was almost a 6-point swing. You figure Nick Van Exel's going to hit 3 free throws there.
But the referees calmly and wisely diffused the situation by not calling a technical foul, which would have excited the crowd here. Mark Cuban tried to come out during the timeout and get involved. Referees calmly walked away. It's the playoffs. Make a shot.
So it's a 12-point game right now. Just under 10 minutes to go in the half. Nowitzki, lost the handle. Keon Clark got a hand in there. Dirk gets it back. Got a shot away. Still Dallas ball. They get a fresh 24. Adrian Griffin clangs one off the front of the iron. And now Van Exel steps on the baseline.
Van Exel's the only guy playing for Dallas.
Seems like it.
He's getting the rebounds. He's creating. He's making it happen. And the rest of the guys are standing around in the box. And he's the oldest guy on the team. And he had the big game on Sunday. What's the other guy's excuses?
A three-point shooting by Sacramento. They've got Christie, Turkoglu, Jackson, Clark, and Bobby Jackson out there. Bobby and Jimmy both. Here's Jim over Nowitzki.
Hedo Turkoglu right there.
Nice hustle by Turkoglu. He at least got a hand on it, knocked it off one of the Maverick players. It'll still be Sacramento ball with only 2 on the shot clock. That's
the ball hit the rim.
Now.
The ball did hit the rim. It hit the rim and came straight down.
Tony Brothers and Dan Crawford talking about
We're
that.
Put
and
22 on the shot clock here.
Yep, you're right. Hit it and went straight down. Exactly. So, shot clock hasn't been a factor the whole game. We haven't even talked about it until right there. Now a foul on Adrian Griffin.
Talked about Nick Van Exel and the job he's doing. One of the things about Dallas is that they have a tendency to wear down when it's really, really tough.
Bobby Jackson got a 3. It's getting worse instead of better for Dallas right now.
And the crowd, which was so into it early and so positive and pumped up, thinking that they had a chance, is now dazed and confused once again.
Nowitzki again trying to put it on the floor. Those long arms of Keon Clark force another Dallas turnover.
And John Nelson's only response is to be able to come with Eduardo Nahara.
Keon Clark over Nowitzki, and Finley with a rebound.
Where Rick Adelman can just keep bringing wave after wave of better players.
And Nowitzki continuing to drive. Bill, why not a few outside shots? Great outside shooter.
They're jamming it, and they're capitalizing on the fact that he's a bit worn down and out traveling violation. Jimmy Jackson testing the rules to see if it's still a violation in the NBA.
He found out it was. Here's Dirk.
Well, Keon Clark has the long arms to be able to put a little bit of pressure. And with Dirk not feeling that rhythm on the perimeter, he's got to try to get to the free throw line. But this is not a time to throw up weak stuff coming down the lane.
Van Exel, Finley, Nowitzki, Nahara, and Adrian Griffin on the floor for Dallas. We approach 8 minutes. And Doug Christie picks up the foul. That's his first. Rick Adelman, whose team won 59 games during the regular season and took it its second straight Pacific title. Great year for him again. Nowitzki got that one.
Pick and roll, so many different variations. Both squads use it. The difference is that Dallas will run it further away from the floor with better deep shooters.
Turkoglu, another good deep shooter, but he missed that. All of Sacramento's points this quarter have come from its bench, by the way. They're all, for the most part, with the exception of Christie, reserves are out there. I don't even know if you should call them reserves. They could start for anybody else. Nowitzki. Dirk's got back-to-back baskets. And he's got 12. And Dallas inches back to within 11.
How long has Weber been on the bench? Stojakovic or Vlade or Bibby?
Could be fighting sleep over there. Here's a whistle and a foul. That's going to be on Van Exel.
Dirk Nowitzki trying everything to get his Mavericks back into this thing. The perimeter jumper first with the beautiful initiation of the offense by Van Exel. And then on the offensive glass.
So Doug Christie could become the only Sacramento starter to score this quarter, and he does.
Christie's numbers so down in the Utah series.
Only averaged just under 3 points in all games.
But since the retirement in Utah of Jeff Hornacek, Utah has had nothing but problems at that off-guard position. So there's really no need to play a Doug Christie against Utah. They don't have to stop anybody. They're going to stop themselves.
They don't stop Nick Van Exel either. Nick, who had 26 points in that win over Portland on Sunday. That was the most points off a bench in a Game 7 in 26 years. World Free was the last guy to put that.
World Be Free.
Yeah. Keon Clark from the outside and a foul. Keon's had a great first half.
I had the privilege of playing with World Be Free. I played against him, but I also played with them. And when we were teammates, that was so much fun because his ball was the best to rebound. I mean, when he did miss, he led the league in scoring when I played with him. And when he did miss, it was just perfect. You could read it magnificently. It was so soft and always right around the rim.
When the passes went inside out, did it ever come back in after you went out to him?
There was no inside out. And there was no need to. That's how great World was. World still very active in the NBA, working for the Philadelphia 76ers as the director of community relations.
9 points for Keon Clark, 6 of them, seven this quarter. The lead is 14 again. And again, Dallas turns it over, and it's Keon Clark with his hands on it.
So many careless turnovers for Dallas.
Jim Jackson took a 3. Nowitzki, nice position on the rebound. Under 6.5 minutes in the half. Van Exel. Not this time. Nahara trying to work his way in, and I think they're going to call Jim Jackson for a little hip check, trying to get Nahara out of the way.
Nahara will beat you with his hustle. He'll beat you with his determination and his relentless pursuit. Not blessed with the athleticism or the physical gifts that so many of these other guys have. And slowed by the knee injury.
Right. Missed a big chunk of the season. Van Exel, Jimmy Jackson trying to stay with him, and Van Exel off the glass. Tough shot. Jackson played pretty good defense, and Nick just kept working until he found enough of a crease to kiss it off the glass. All 8 of his points this quarter. Bobby Jackson.
The lack of defense by the perimeter players for the Dallas Mavericks. Just killing them.
50 points already for Sacramento. We've got 5:50 left.
Sacramento might have 70 points at the half.
Here's Nash. He got around. Bobby Jackson got the shot and the foul.
If you're Rick Adelman, you tell your guys, look, our goal is to get 70. Don't let up. Bury them right now. They're fatigued emotionally, spiritually, physically. Steve Nash doing everything he can to make it happen and get his guys back. Finally, a layup.
He'll try to cap a 3-point play when we come back.
Kevin Frazier, Greg Anthony in the studio. Let's quickly update you on the Sixers and Pistons. Allen Iverson, as usual, is getting loose, Greg.
When they get shots up, as they did here, they're playing well. Unfortunately, 13 turnovers.
Chauncey Billups, 16 points to Allen Iverson, 16 points. It's 57-46, Pistons in the lead, guys.
This has been Sacramento since we were tied at 10. Kevin and Greg, and all Sacramento since the big guys. Webber goes out. He had to play this quarter. Even.
Those two guys, Keon Clark and Chris Webber, have been absolutely fantastic, getting whatever they want, whenever they want. Jumpers, eyebrow fakes that result in throwdown dunks. Keon Clark moving beautifully without the ball, delivering his own jump hook. Pick and roll, go to the baseline, deliver an elbow jumper. And we talked at the beginning of this game about Dallas's chance of negating the power inside. The big guys, Bradley and LaFrance, what have they done here tonight? Well, I better clean my glasses, Greg.
They're on the bench right now. We'll just put it and leave it at that. Steve Nash, that completes the 3-point play as he was fouled going to the basket before the timeout. Makes it an 11-point game. Brad Nessler, Bill Walton, David Aldridge, and our ESPN2 crew from Dallas. Chris Webber finally back in the lineup. What a nice look.
Steph, please. You see this so many times, big men. And we saw it Duncan last night. Hakeem used to be guilty of this. When they get double teamed, they back away from it and try to throw a step-away pass. It's a nightmare.
And then the turnover doesn't do Dallas any good because they give it right back, but they do get a stop now and a chance to cut into the lead a little bit further. They can get it down to single digits if they can score this trip. Nowitzki's been kind of quiet from the floor. A nice give and go to Nahara and fouled.
They execute the pick and roll with so many different guys, so many different ways. That guy, that time, Dirk Nowitzki dribbling away from the basket to set up Nahara. What a creative genius Don Nelson is.
Nahara's been getting some passes down there, hasn't he?
Well, he keeps moving.
Nash this time just goes straight up with it. It's Nahara broke to the basket. Steve Nash took the outside jumper and knocked it down. 7 for Steve, and it is single digits, down to 9.
Bibby, who averaged 21, almost 22 points a game in this series a year ago, been very quiet here. He's got a big man.
Look at that hook pass out to Bobby Jackson. Nash trying to stay with Jackson. And the foul's going to be on Nahara.
They might call it on Steve Nash.
They call it, you're right. They call it on Steve Nash.
They're going to call a pushing foul on Steve.
Wow.
I've really got to go clean my glasses now.
That's why I missed it. I'm sorry. I called it on the wrong guy. Bobby Jackson, at any rate, is going to go to the free throw line.
As the commissioner said, David Stern, after Game 3 of Minnesota Lakers, guess what? Mistakes do happen.
Bobby Jackson with 6 points. Bobby didn't play in a couple of the games this year as he missed 22 with that broken hand that we saw him suffer on Christmas Day out in Los Angeles.
And he didn't get to the line on that one either.
No, he didn't. That was another one. He almost lost a finger and he didn't go to the line.
But Bobby Jackson would have been an NBA All-Star had he not gotten hurt that fateful day on Christmas.
Nahara weaves his way, reverse layup. He maybe wouldn't have had to do that. Bobby Jackson running the other way against Van Exel. Trying to leave it for Stojakovic, stolen by Griffin.
Wild, chaotic basketball. Jack up a three, Nick. Come on.
How about a two? Well, a chance for a three.
That's what I said. Jack up a three.
You weren't specific. And now it can become an 8-point game.
Where would the Dallas Mavericks be without Nick Van Exel? That ball was blocked. And it still went in. That's how good this guy is.
Nick said, coming back before Game 7 against Portland after the Friday night debacle at the Rose Garden, he said, I got home, I went to my house, I closed the drapes, I didn't want anybody in Dallas to even see me. I was so embarrassed how we played. He couldn't wait to get back Sunday and get on the floor, and he showed it, and now he's showing up again, and he's got him back in the hunt. Weber misses a jump hook. Nahara the rebound. Here comes Van Exel and the Mavericks again. Pull up three. In and out. Nahara pushes off, trying to get the rebound, and he'll pick up the foul. Let's check in with D.A.
Guys, when I talked to Chris Webber before the game, the one guy he said we really are afraid of is Nick Van Exel. He said if it wasn't for Van Exel, Dallas would not have won that first round series. They might not even have been first place in the conference this year. Don Nelson said the same thing. It shouldn't be the big three. It should be the big four.
Right.
Nick Van Exel just fearless in his ability to take and make big shots at the ends of games, guys.
But remember at our meeting with Don Nelson this morning, he said when he made the trade for Nick Van Exel, he was very concerned that with Nick coming in, he didn't know who was going to start at the point guard, Nick or Steve Nash. And then David, we were talking to him, and he said, look, Nick Van Exel came right up to Nelson and said, I don't want to start. I want to come off the bench, let little Stevie have the glory.
Nahara with a jam. It's down to 6. Now the chance at defense around American Airlines Center. Weber drives, puts the ball up, offensive foul.
And finally, an intelligent defensive play for the Dallas Mavericks. Force Weber to drive left. Weber does not have the athleticism anymore. It's Edward Nahara who has turned this around along with Nick Van Exel.
As you said earlier, Chris is right-handed and probably will be throughout the game, the series, and his career. 10 on the shot clock, under 3 minutes in the half.
Or at least to game 2.
Nash, who's so great with his left hand, is in no man's land. Van Exel, long three, and kept alive by Nash. Fresh shot clock for Dallas. Trying to slice further into that lead. They're only down 6. They trailed by 15 at one point. Nash with the left hand, missed it, got his own rebound. The scoop outside, Van Exel still can't get it. Dallas had 4 shots at it. Now it's Bobby Jackson on the break.
Steve Nash is playing terrible. But this is a great player. I voted for Steve Nash on the second-team All-NBA. And the only thing he's doing right now is rebounding.
Here's his jumper. Trying Nahara to save it and couldn't. pushing it again. The Kings and Dirk Nowitzki made sure that Chris Webber was not going to get that shot. Well, Dallas has worked its way back into the ball game. The fast break by Nahara with a reverse jam. But then it was Bobby Jackson wide open. And with just over 2 minutes left in the half, it's Sacramento by 8.
Presentation of the NBA playoffs, brought to you by Nissan and your local Nissan dealer. And Sprite, obey your thirst.
Kevin Frazier, Greg Anthony, Inside Playoff Central, the ATT halftime report on the way. Of course, you can always jump over to ESPN and check out the Sixers and Pistons, that game in the third quarter. But, Greg, we will talk about that game. In case you want to stick with us, we'll also talk about the Bob Ryan situation, Jason Kidd comments, and also pretty good game. Pretty good game. Let's give him a taste of the highlights of what's going over there. How about Chauncey Billups?
Oh, he's playing huge. I think Philadelphia's going to have to start double-teaming him on those pick and rolls. He's been lighting them up.
22 points for Chauncey Billups in the game. Pistons up by 8.
Don Nelson's team back in, a courtesy of 11 points in this quarter by Nick Van Exel, the guy that he says, as Bill said, came to him and said, Coach, I don't need to start.
He came to me and he said, Coach, I don't want to start. I want to come off the bench. I'd like to be your sixth man. I said, really? Well, congratulations. You won the six-man job.
And that was no booby prize. He is one of the great scorers in the NBA and has lit up the crowd and the Mavericks in this quarter. When once they were down 15, they've cut it to 8. But it's Webber at the free throw line. The only thing Chris has missed is his free throws so far, but he hits that one.
To get back to this level for Nick Van Exel is just a dream come true. Because the Lakers, they dumped him. They gave him away for an injured Tony Batiste. Tony was not a factor in the NBA at the time. He goes up, languishes in the outback of Denver, Colorado. Then all of a sudden, Mark Cuban rescues him down here and brings him to the promised land. And he has delivered.
Under 2 minutes, 9-point ball game. Dallas a +6 on the rebound, something that they're not that strong at. But unfortunately, they haven't gotten shots. One trip down, they had 4 attempts and didn't get any points. This time they do. Adrian Griffin, his first basket. Griffin was actually a starter in 2 of the 4 regular season games in this matchup this year.
But Don Nelson's searching mightily for guys that can contribute off the bench. He said that he would use more of his bench in this series because of better matchups as opposed to the Portland series.
Weber goes baseline on Nowitzki. Just when you think that jump hook is coming, zip. And that's his first field goal of this quarter.
The versatility of Chris Webber, the identification that he's got a weak defender, Dirk Nowitzki, on him.
Here's Nowitzki, had a mismatch over Bibby momentarily, but he missed the shot. And out of bounds, Sacramento.
At what point will Dirk Nowitzki become a good defensive player? I mean, Peja Stojakovic had this same reputation a couple years ago. Amazing thing about Peja, 25 years old. Seems like he's been in the league forever. Right. He's only 25.
Weber this time turns around and hits the outside jumper.
This is a clinic by Chris Webber. 2 for 1 time, Dallas Mavericks.
Weber didn't have to play that much this quarter. He's got 18 points in the half. Jimmy Jackson on Nash.
Nick's got to shoot this ball.
Nash gets it back. He'll take the 3.
Not even close.
And Nowitzki keeps it alive. Nash the dish. Beautiful. Nahara. That's Steve Nash's game more there.
Everything left. Everything on the run to the basket is with his left.
9-point game again. Final 25 seconds. No fouls either way. Bibby kicks it out. Here's Stojakovic. Hesitates and missed the 3.
The hesitation killed it. Took him out of his rhythm.
Bibby puts it right back up. He can't get it, but he got it back.
A lot of time. A lot of time.
Nash comes out on Stojakovic. Now it's Jackson who might take the last one. Nope, Bibby from the corner. That time he got it. Only hit 2 field goals in the half, both the 3-pointers. Steve Nash almost hit a running 3-pointer before the buzzer sounded to end the half.
And all Don Nelson could say is, will somebody please get a rebound?
You would never know that Dallas, at least up until the last moments there, had the rebounding advantage. It didn't do them any good, and now the crowd is hushed as that lead skidded right back up to 15. And let's check in with D.A.
Chris, how did you guys come out so focused and so furious after 5 days off?
Because we haven't won a championship. So Lakers are the only one with the ring right now. So we're nobody. We're like a junior high school team. We got to come out here focused every game because nothing's promised to us.
What did you guys do to keep Nash from being effective as a passer as much as a scorer in the first half?
Well, you got to make him make tough shots. You know, make him make those whoop-de-doo shots. That's why he's so great, because he can make them, but such a high difficulty level that it's really hard. So make him score and try to take advantage of other guys not touching the ball.
Chris, thank you very much. Good luck to you in the second half. Back to you.
I may have said a 15-point lead. They momentarily put up 65-50. It's 62-50 at halftime, and the AT&T halftime report coming up.
It was so close. And Nick Van Exel had that three and rimmed out, and then it was Sacramento opening it up.
Their lead as many as 15 in the first half. The Kings on the road trying to take away the home court feel for the Mavericks at the break. Sacramento 62, Dallas 50.
Welcome to the AT&T Halftime Report.
18 points for Chris Webber in the first half, 8 of 11 from the floor. Sean Bradley makes a mistake, and now he's on a poster. 62-50, Sacramento leads Dallas. Welcome to the AT&T Halftime Report. Kevin Frazier. As always, I'm joined by my partner, Greg Anthony, and were you just mimicking me?
Not at all.
Were you just making fun of me off the camera?
Not at all, man.
He was messing with me. For those of you out there who would like to switch over and check out the Sixers and Pistons, not that I don't want to give Greg the FaceTime, but you can switch over to ESPN and check out that game right now. Otherwise, we will fill you in with Greg's basketball knowledge. And let's start with this. And 62 points is not what the Mavs had in mind when they started this game.
No, not at all. But again, the problem for the Dallas Mavericks is that Sacramento is so strong at all 5 positions at all times throughout the course of that first half. They can score from all of those positions, and Dallas can't defend them all, and that's basically been the difference in this game thus far.
What happened to that great Dallas defense that everybody was talking about? That zone and Sean Bradley anchoring the back of that zone and how tough it was going to be.
Well,
what happened?
A part of that, though, relies on the fact that you are going up against teams that have weaknesses at a couple of positions out there on the floor at any given time. Sacramento doesn't present you with that opportunity because from 1 through 5, they can all score, they can all shoot from the perimeter, they can all finish around the basket, and that's why they're just having a difficult time guarding this team.
All right, meanwhile, for those of you who decide to stay, let's show you what's going on ESPN right now. It's the Sixers in Detroit, game 1 of the Eastern Conference semifinal, and early in the first quarter, Cliff Robinson gets the ball and the lights go out. A 20-minute delay. Greg, you had plenty of time to talk to him later.
Yeah, we did. That was fun. I enjoyed it. The players did, but I enjoyed it.
All right, once the play started back up, Allen Iverson flowing. Iverson, 19 points and 5 assists currently at this second.
Playing extremely well again. What surprised me most about this game is the fact Philly came out as if they'd never been in the playoffs before. They just looked like disoriented offensively, turning the ball over literally every other possession in that first half.
Chauncey Billups playing like he's been in the playoffs before.
Well, they're riding the wave of that 7-game win against Orlando, and the confidence is high in Detroit.
22 points for Chauncey right now, and what in the world has gotten into Chauncey Billups?
He's a great player. And
no, hold on. I'm not disrespecting him. This guy was a 3rd pick in the draft.
Yeah,
but I'm just saying.
Chauncey Billups is a solid basketball player. He's very confident right now, and he's got that stroke going. If you are the Philadelphia 76ers, you're going to have to start trapping him on that pick and roll. Make him give the ball up. One thing that Detroit doesn't have is a lot of playmakers. You take the ball out of his hands, it's going to make it much more difficult for Detroit to get offense.
But as you said, time and time again, it's that Detroit backcourt of Rip Hamilton and Chauncey Billups. You have to slow down if you want to win, and right now the Sixers are not doing a good job of that. Meanwhile, in the Big D, things not going so well for the Dallas Mavericks. But one guy playing hard, the pride of Chihuahua, Mexico, Eduardo Najera. It's 62-50 at the half. We'll be back in a moment.
This halftime report is presented by the world's networking company, AT&T. Welcome back to the AT&T halftime report.
62-50 at the half. Sacramento Kings up by 12 on the Dallas Mavericks. Welcome to the AT&T halftime report. Last night, the playoffs kick off with a double dip, and it started with the Nets and the Celtics. Paul Pierce had 34, but Kenyon Martin and the Nets just too strong.
Too much transition offense for the Nets. They got out and they dominated the open court.
Meanwhile, Lakers taking on the Spurs. Bad news for the Lakers. Devin George goes down, severely sprained ankle. He's out for the rest of the playoffs. The MVP did his thing. He had 28. Shaq had 24 and 21, but the big thing is Devin George done.
Definitely, I think I can get back before the series is over with, and if I can't, you know, other guys, again, like I had to step in when Rick went out, and other guys down, so, you know, the guys that probably don't play a lot maybe had to step into.
Devin's going to rehab, and hopefully he'll be back by Friday. If not, guys that's filling his spot just going to have to step up.
Definitely out for Game 2. Is Devin George's status in question? But meanwhile, what happened with the Lakers in that game? I just want to note that the free throw shooting disparity, 35-12. The Spurs take 35 free throws. The Lakers just 12.
Well, the Lakers should get more free throw attempts, but the difference also is the fact that the Lakers shot a lot more perimeter shots, and San Antonio attacked the rim, and mainly with Manu Ginobili. He was a guy who just went out there and made it happen with the energy on the defensive end as well as the offensive end. I mean, this is as pretty a play as you're going to see, the give and go right there with Tim Duncan for the flush. You know, this guy just played so well. He does not play as if he's a rookie, and he's not. He's 25 years old. He's very experienced. This kid has been the difference thus far in Game 1 for the Spurs, and he has continued to play at a high level if they're going to win this series.
I actually picked Manu Ginobili to be the Rookie of the Year after seeing him at the World Championships. I was so impressed by the way he played.
Well, that's because you hadn't seen Amari Stoudemire.
Well, you're right. I hadn't seen Amari Stoudemire playing with men, and you didn't know that Amari Stoudemire was going to be that good. Who knew?
You know what? I had a little birdie on my shoulder told me that Amari was going to be very, very potent this season.
I don't remember you coming out at the beginning of the season saying Amari Stoudemire will be Rookie of the Year. All right, thank you. All right, meanwhile, we move on to a rather troubling story. Bob Ryan, the sports columnist of the Boston Globe, is suspended for 1 month. He will not be allowed to appear on TV or radio or write after these comments about Jason Kidd's wife. I got theories with this woman, this Jomana Kidd, who wants to be a TV star. She wants FaceTime on camera. The great way to get FaceTime is to bring the cute little precocious kid. He's talking about Jason Kidd's son, TJ. Oh, great. I'd like to smack her. He made those comments last night on a Boston area television show, and Jason Kidd responded this afternoon.
Apology, again, is one thing, but it's more or less, you know, he needs to apologize to Jomana because for saying you're going to hit somebody, you know, and he said it, is like saying you can kill somebody. So, you know, that's very offensive. She felt, sorry that, you know, if she's offended him in any way, you know, she took the higher road, and that's all you can do at this point is take the higher road.
Now, Ryan was twice given the chance to recant that statement during the television show, and he did not. He later apologized, but maybe a little too late.
Oh, without question. I think it's inexcusable for someone of his stature to make comments like that, especially when you're dealing with someone's family. He deserved to be suspended, and I'd like to see possibly something else happen afterwards, because, again, there's no place for that type of behavior.
Well, it's just tough, and my father coached in the NBA. He was a college coach, and it's hard when you hear things said about a member of your family, and you're sitting there, you're the family member just sitting there, so it's very, very tough. Hope that situation clears up. Meanwhile, let's update you once again on the situation between the Sixers and Detroit, and Rip Hamilton. We talked about that backcourt again, Greg, and there's Rip getting to the rack.
I tell you, these guys have really just provided Detroit with a huge spark thus far in the playoffs, but the answer is always doing that.
21 points and 5 assists for Allen Iverson, and there's that man again, Chauncey Billups, the shot, but Corliss Williamson, the bucket at the buzzer to end the third quarter. We're in the fourth quarter now. Pistons up 75-66. Meanwhile, back in the Big D, there is no D right now for the Dallas Mavericks. They need to find some because my Peja keeps blowing up.
This halftime report is presented by the world's networking company, AT&T.
Back in Dallas, where the Mavericks at halftime trail Sacramento 62-50 is the halftime score. Welcome back, everybody. Brad Nessler and Bill Walton. Remember the old line of the Temptation song, Ball of Confusion, and the band played on? I kind of looked at the Mavericks defense sort of that way in the first half. How about you?
Plenty of temptation attacking this defense. Dirk Nowitzki running wild, not guarding anybody. The Sacramento Kings were flawless in everything that they did. The one time that they did come out to play some matchup defense, Sean Bradley went for the worst fake. Look at Nick Van Exel. Nick Van Exel trying to zone it up in the middle. Well, who am I going to guard here? Well, I'm supposed to be guarding Mike Bibby. Mike Bibby, the end, the half is begging, pleading. Will somebody please pass me that ball? I'm wide open. What a game by Sacramento.
Bibby only took 5 shots, hit 2 3-pointers, and Dallas knows that they're going to have to not turn the ball over and play better defense, and they made that pretty aware in their huddles. Del Harris talking to the troops.
Spread space more, we won't make the turnovers. Turnovers really hurt us. They scored 10 points off our turnovers. Take care of the ball. Keep fighting out there. You're out rebounding. Just keep working. It'll fall together.
They did out rebound them 24-20. They had 8 turnovers, and that turned into 10 Sacramento points, as you heard Dell, assistant coach Don Nelson, say. And here we go, starting the third quarter, a 12-point Sacramento advantage.
All the loose balls, Sacramento.
And Steve Nash comes up with a quick foul, and he didn't like the call. Let's check in with David.
Guys at the half, Don Nelson kept it very simple. He said, guys, we got to move the ball. Move past the ball. You do not have to take contested bad shots. Move the ball. Shots are there. Defensively, it would be nice if you moved your feet a little bit and got in somebody's face. Back to you.
Nobody moved their feet on Stojakovic, and he knocks it down.
That would be nice, but how sad is it for Dallas that Del Harris has to be pleading for intensity and commitment and paying attention?
Are they tired, Bill, from Sunday?
Absolutely, yes.
Here's another turnover, and here goes Stojakovic, pushed by Nowitzki. Couldn't even get a hand on him enough to stop the layup.
Dallas has only themselves to blame. They had the 3-point or the 3-game lead, and then had to play a whole extra week and had to go to the closing minutes before they got to this point.
Now the lead, the biggest it's been all night long. 16-point advantage for Sacramento.
Rafe has played well.
Hasn't played much, that's for sure.
Peja Stojakovic just doing everything. Dribbling away from the basket. Looking at the floor to figure out where the hoop is. That guy is great.
Nice to have that much confidence in your shooting, huh? Dallas hasn't hit a 3-pointer tonight. They hit a 2-pointer there. Nowitzki has 14.
Remember in that one game we did a week ago, 10 days ago, where Dallas had 13 threes in one game? They haven't made a single one today?
Nope. Van Exel, who you saw on the bench, has taken a couple.
They're 0 for 11.
Underneath, Weber goes up, and LaFrentz with the foul.
The rest has certainly helped Chris Weber as LaFrentz picks up his second foul. Weber, who rarely turns back that way. You have to know that your feet are feeling a lot better. Chris Weber, who's been plagued over the last few years by the nagging ankle injuries, which have just piled on, taken away so much of the gifted athleticism. But with Chris Weber in the low post, he wants to turn into that jump hook. That's what his game is all about. Chris Weber in the first half, 8 for 11. Nice defense. How about taking him out of it? This is like a Shaquille O'Neal shot, Charlie.
Yeah. 20 points now as he hits both free throws. And the lead swells back to 16. Nowitzki. He and Nash play catch, and now Dirk trying to drive. Stojakovic, nice rebound, just snatched it out of there in some traffic.
He has improved so much in the little things. Rebounding, passing,
that's
spacing.
7th board, Bill, for Stojakovic. And then Lottie goes outside and gets in the act.
This is getting ugly quick.
70-52, 18-point lead might become 20 on this trip. Christie, the kick out, and foul's going to be on Christie. Offensive foul, his second. Van Exel taking off the warm-ups. Nick was a big part of that second quarter. All 11 of his points came in the second quarter, so he's back out there. But this is a pretty big hole they've got themselves in.
Nice night by Rafe LaFrentz. It's a good thing we highlighted him in the open as being the key to the game.
Well, you said that they had to play big. You didn't say he was going to play big.
Usually you would hope you to be at your best in the biggest of games.
Nash misses a three. Christie up high for the rebound.
I like Chris Webber's halftime comments when he told David Aldridge that, look, we want the big prize. We're not interested in a good start to a series. We want the championship. We want the Lakers.
That's their mindset.
Oh.
Whoa, little spin move by Van Exel. Van Exel comes in and only took him about 10 seconds to get in the act.
How do you describe that play?
I don't know. Underneath, Vlade Divac on a feed from Weber.
Nice D.
Nice Divac, not much D. 18-point lead. Van Exel through traffic again.
Oh,
didn't quite get the roll this time. Vlade with a rebound. And Mike Bibby bringing it up.
Dallas is a lot better team than what we're seeing tonight.
We've seen him enough this year to know that's the case.
Oh.
Great feed from Bibby and Divac all alone.
This is embarrassing. Fans are booing.
10 points for Divac. The lead is 20. Sacramento putting on a clinic. Van Exel feeds Nash, who's all alone. Steve looked around like, who's going to block it? There was nobody there. Found himself an opening.
Don Nelson told us today he would have wished to have another day. I don't know if that would have been enough. How soon can you breathe?
Christie hits the outside jumper. They haven't needed any offense from him. His second field goal, and it's back to 20. There's just a shocked silence. Nahara tried to strip the ball from Christie, and he got him in the chops and picks up the foul. That's going to be his third.
Always hate to see a guy go down. So devastating with Devin George. We can only hope that he's okay. But that's just going to mean that Shaq's going to have to play more and play harder.
Shaq and Kobe have to get 80 between them with Rick Fox and Devin George out. Here's another look. You see the hand just comes up and he gets him right under the nose. That'll bring tears to your eyes. Divac backdoor pass to Stojakovic, reverse layup. How pretty is that?
Big men passing the ball and putting the ball quickly on the mark. This crowd is sitting here in disbelief.
Total silence. Nash, three would help the cause for Dallas, and he got it.
That's their first three of the night?
Yeah.
1 for 12. Excuse me, 1 for 13 for the Dallas Mavericks.
Nash with 12 points after hitting that one.
Nice passing by Vlade.
Bibby, the quick move to the baseline, and he brings it to Christie, who touch passes it to Stojakovic. And now Bradley and Divac, Sean Bradley, going to be called for the foul.
No need for them. Sean Bradley's the biggest guy in the game. Why get tangled up with elbows down low? Keep your arms up around your shoulder height, and everybody else will be running into the bottoms of your elbows, and they'll never come back.
They won't come back for more, huh?
Sacramento has not committed a team foul in this quarter. Dallas has 4 already.
6.5 to go. With a pass again to Divac. Goaltending. Boy, those two guys can work it around between them, can't they?
But the pass last night at the end of the game that Duncan tried to throw to Robinson. I mean, those guys used to connect on those regularly. That was so errant. I was wondering what had happened.
And over the head or the arms of Bradley, and now Stojakovic on the break.
Don Nelson, there's nothing else to do at this point except call a timeout as the boos rain down from high in the rafters at American Airlines Center.
The big guys, as Bill talked about, first the little guy to the big guy, and then Vlade the back door to Stojakovic.
Tease him, Vlade.
Picture perfect passing. And then the turnover, the outlet, Stojakovic all alone.
He has 17, and the lead has swelled to 82-59.
This copyrighted telecast of the National Basketball Association may not be retransmitted, reproduced, rebroadcast, or otherwise distributed or used in any form without the express written consent of the NBA.
ESPN's presentation of the NBA playoffs, brought to you by GMC. We are professional grade.
Check in on the Pistons and Sixers and developing situation. Chauncey Billups on his way to another big night with 24 points. Severely sprains his ankle watching it. It hurts to watch. Billups goes out. Meanwhile, Mehmet Okur with 16 points. He's 7 of 7 from the floor. Watch the great touch pass. The kid from Turkey using two hands like his mama taught him. Pistons lead 85-77, gentlemen.
Kevin, here it's all Sacramento, courtesy of a lot of inside plays, layups, and dunks. Remember, last year, the same matchup, 115 layups and dunks out of 207 field goals. In Game 6 against Portland the other night, it was 24-49, and it's happening again.
Nothing has changed. Sacramento just playing perfect. If you can't feed the ball to Sean Bradley, what kind of game do you have? That's the easiest target outside of Yao Ming in the entire league. And tonight, the Kings have scored 14 out of 32 baskets off layups or dunks. You talk about adjustments. You talk about making progress. Where is it?
Haven't seen it tonight. From Game 6 to Game 7 against Portland, there was drastic improvement in that area, especially in the last 3 quarters on Sunday. But right now, it's all Sacramento. Finley. Rebound. Foul's going to be, I think, on Vlade Divac. No, it's not. It was on Sean Bradley. Continuing playoffs tomorrow night on TNT. Boston and New Jersey. Game 2 at 7. The Lakers in San Antonio at 9:30. Thursday we'll have Game 2 of Philadelphia and Detroit for you at 7. Bill and David now being here in Dallas for Sacramento and the Mavericks at 9:30 Sunday on ABC. San Antonio and the Lakers. Game 4, our coverage starts at 3 o'clock on ABC.
Spurs have to play with more confidence. David Robinson and Tim Duncan have to pay more respect to Robert Horry, who was a basketball genius and is in the head of Tim Duncan. And watch out for Shaq at the start of that game tomorrow night.
Robert Horry in the head of Tim Duncan and in the groin of the Admiral. Gee whiz. 5:45 remaining third quarter. It is 84-59. And Exel cross court. Off the glass. The rebound battle, Sacramento 2 now.
The defensive rebounding for Sacramento has been outstanding throughout. Just 4 and 5 guys pounding the glass.
Christie's wide open. And he buries a 3.
Everything happening right for Sacramento. That even brought Rick Adelman up out of his chair. But the Kings starting front line of Weber, Peja, and Vlade have combined for 49 points on 21 for 32 shooting. Nice defense.
Griffin almost threw it away.
Vlade just zoning it up along the back line.
Griffin through traffic out to Van Exel. 3 on the shot clock. A runner by Van Exel. He's been pretty much the offense and not enough of it for Dallas.
Things are so bad. Oh, over the top. Weber, throw it down. They're going to wave it off. Danny Crawford saying that ball was in the cylinder, which is a violation.
That would have gone in, I think.
Well, they changed that rule with Wilt. In Wilt's days, they used to just throw it up there, and Wilt would just grab it and catch it. Even on a shot attempts, Wilt would catch the shot attempts and dunk it through. They said, no, you can't do that.
That was a hair off. It would not have gone in. It was a near perfect pass. Instead, wave it off.
If anything, one of my hairs falling out. There's not much left.
Finley double team. Somebody's got to be open. Here's Walt Williams on the baseline. LaFrette's got a rebound. Griffin clanged one off the back of the iron. Third chance coming up for Dallas. There you go.
Dallas's offense has come down to Adrian Griffin. being the playmaker. And then Nick Van Exel just bailing it out with his individual creativity and brilliance.
Stojakovic, 3 is off the mark. LaFrench the rebound. Dallas brings it down with 3:45 to go in the quarter. 87-63. Finley turns, fadeaway, got it. First basket for Michael since the first quarter.
What are you going to do when a guy dribbles away from the basket, doesn't even look, jumps in the air, turns, and casts away?
Bibby working the baseline. And a foul.
Tough matchup for Adrian Griffin trying to contain Mike Bibby on the perimeter. Mark Cuban cannot believe what he's seeing, the frustration, the disappointment. Wonderful article about Mark in the New York Times today. Talked all about it and his relationship with the league and the fact that he's disappointed really that some of his co-owners, fellow owners around the league are not more vocal in trying to make the league a better place.
As the owners from the other side, the Maloof brothers. And Bibby got it. 7 for Mike. Let's check in with David.
Yeah, guys, Mark Cuban was not happy that his team has to play back-to-back games Saturday and Sunday in Sacramento. He complained to the league office, and it wasn't so much that as they gave him no advance warning. It was kind of sprung it on him. And he said, guys, how about a little advance notice next time so that we can prepare for playing 2 games in 24 hours, especially after a 7-game series.
That'll be coming up this weekend. Right now, their hands are completely full. In fact, they're tied right now. They're down 20. 3:06 to go, third quarter.
ESPN's presentation of the NBA playoffs, brought to you by Coors Light. Cool down easy. Rock on.
Kevin Frazier back in Playoff Central. Don't want to say that the game is over in the Big D, but just in case you want to see an exciting game, Pistons and 76ers, it's 89-82 with 2:24 left in this one. Allen Iverson, 26 points, but he is just 2 of his last 11. Meanwhile, let's head back to Dallas.
Well, American Airlines Center was a happening place when this game started. Now they don't like what's happening too much. It is 88-68 with 3:06 to go in the third quarter. All Sacramento in this ball game. And Nick Van Exel leading the way for Dallas with 20 points off the bench and one of the only guys still saying anything in the huddle.
Plenty of time. Hey, relax right now. Take advantage of it. Stop.
Gotta love that, right?
I'd like to thank Kevin Frazier for the ringing endorsement of our game today.
It's been a long night in the studio.
Oh, they had the power outage.
Yeah.
They got certainly a power outage for the Dallas Mavericks here, which we didn't expect.
Oh, pass intended for Christie and Griffin with a foul.
Weber loves to start plays out of timeouts, out of quarters, breaks, off the opening tip with a high post back cut to Doug Christie.
That pass had some serious zip on it.
I think they have to throw hard passes.
Christie, good third quarter. NBA.com has compiled the 10 greatest shots in NBA playoff history. Log on and cast your vote. Pick the best shot only on NBA.com. Don't forget to follow the NBA legends on NBA.com too with the Love It Live playoff tour.
The Love It Live tour bus is filling up. It started a year ago with just one guy. This year, Bill Russell, Moses Malone, George Gervin, Bob Lanier, Tiny Archibald were original members of the bus. Now, you got John Havlicek, Bobby Jones, Earl Monroe, and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar have all elbowed their way on.
There's a few points and championships on that bus. Finley outside. Kept alive. Abdul ahead. He lost it. Stripped by Jimmy Jackson. Weber, look at this. Going to work on LaFrench and drew a foul.
And Rafe LaFrench says, come on, what is this? You can't just put a guy in the line after a bailout attempt like that. How many moves did Chris Webber throw on the guy at that point?
About like 6. And 6 to the free throw line.
Before he crossed over and leaned in.
Weber's got 20. He had 18 in the first half. 13, as a matter of fact, in the first quarter when he just dominated the game. There's his numbers.
That was Avery Johnson there on the bench on the right side of your screen. Avery gave the prayer before the game 7 on Sunday. It was his inspirational moment of brilliance in the locker room that got the guys going. I don't even think prayer would help at this point. They need some guys who can play some ball.
And Exel's one guy that's done a nice job. He leaves it for Finley, and Finley had it stripped. Another Dallas turnover, and then the frustration. And maybe a tee coming up. Yes, a technical on Finley to boot. Michael wasn't happy with himself getting the ball stripped. Thought he should have had a foul called. He was called for the foul and then said something, and the technical came rather quickly.
The Dallas Mavericks are turning Peja Stojakovic into a defensive stalwart. They're making him look like Michael Jordan or Scottie Pippen or Dennis Johnson, Michael Cooper.
Great job on the boards for Peja. He has 17 points. Very seldom misses a free throw, but he did miss that one.
Remember in the old days when you could just come out and you just attack everything right through Peja? No longer the case, as this guy has worked relentlessly to develop his overall game.
18 and 8 for the ball game with 2:15 remaining third quarter.
And it's amazing because they list him at 6'10". And when you watch him play, he really only looks like he's 6'6", 6'7".
Because of the build, but when you go stand next to him, you go, whoa.
He's
a big dude.
He's not as tall as Tony Kukoc, and not as tall as Dirk Nowitzki, certainly. But he is a legitimate 6'10". He's bigger than Magic and Larry Bird, who were both 6'9".
Van Exel out to Abdul ahead, missed the outside jumper, and Stojakovic has his 9th rebound. Sacramento's only shooting 71% for the quarter. And that's how Dallas won over Portland, by shooting 70-plus in the fourth quarter.
Tease him, Chris. You got it going.
And then just turns and fires.
That is beautiful basketball. We talked about Meadowlark Lemon going into the Hall of Fame this year. Inspiration for Chris Webber tonight.
We'll be playing Sweet Georgia Brown here in a minute. It's 96-68.
You don't think Kevin Frazier was right, do you?
He could have been. He has been before. Weber got a piece of LaFrence's shot.
Are you sure he has been?
Pretty sure. Could become a 30-point game depending on this trip. Not what Dallas had ordered up at home.
What kind of show are we going to see right here?
Weber open momentarily. Williams got on him. He feeds Bobby Jackson.
With the left-handed pass, Chris Webber initiating the pick and roll with the dribble handoff. Don Nelson wisely just resting Dirk Nowitzki and Steve Nash, who certainly just didn't have it.
Finley missed the first try. Second one he got.
But Steve and Dirk are two guys who do wear down. They are not like Kobe or Shaq, who just play endless basketball and never get tired.
Foul on Weber's his third. Steve Nash is coming back in.
So much for whatever I said. He can bring Steve Nash right back in.
First defensive foul on Sacramento this quarter. Wow.
Way to take it to the rim.
Yeah. Finley hits the three-point play. Mike's got 9 in the ball game.
Trapping defense here. And an offensive foul. Chris Webber is going to argue that he had no room to turn around.
Picks up his 4th foul.
The kick ahead flashing. When you're up by, how many are they up by?
A lot. Nash hits a 3.
Probably best just not to argue.
They're up 22 right now, the final 30 seconds of the quarter.
Especially as well as Weber's playing on the offensive end. Oh, yes!
What a pass!
With the left again. He palmed it with his left hand and then just pushed it right out there.
98-74. Steve Nash hit a 3 the last trip down. Might get another opportunity.
Their offense just looks so out of sync.
Walt Williams, little scoop inside for Walt.
This ball
is going to come back
at this end. Yes. They're going to put 4.4 seconds on the clock.
So they bring it all the way back down. Wentz in came and add some time. There you go, 4.4.
Chris Webber will go to the bench, protect himself from picking up a needless offensive foul here. Defensive foul, excuse me.
LaFrentz off the inbound. Didn't get it, and Keon Clark did get the rebound.
So much time. Why rush that shot? But then there's been a lot of unanswerable questions tonight for the Dallas Mavericks.
Through 3 quarters, there certainly has been. No question about the play of Chris Webber, I would say. Watch this pass. The little fake, the turn, and the one-hand bounce with the left hand for an easy one for Bobby Jackson. Gotta love that, huh? And Sacramento fans loving the way their team is playing. Through 3 quarters, all Kings, 98-76. Michael Finley was called for a technical. This was the play that he complained that he was fouled by Stojakovic when he went up in the air, was stripped of the ball, then fouled himself. And Dan Crawford had the explanation for him about that play.
That's all ball.
All ball, Mike. It wasn't even Mike. You know what? Let me talk to you. That's all I want to say. Be fair with me because you know you fouled him. Okay, your play, he hits all ball. Mike, if I think he hits you across the arm, I'm going to call that, Mike.
Nice explanation as you get some court sounds from this first-round Western Conference semifinal.
Not a good idea when you're playing horrible, things aren't going your way, to go and blame it on the refs.
It won't help you down the road, will it?
Just suck it up and just come back and work your way back in. And things have gone so bad that now they've resorted to Rajabel, Tariq Abdul-Wahed to try to bring him back.
Bobby Jackson got around Steve Nash and a runner by Jackson. The balanced scoring right now. Webber has 24. Stojakovic has 19. Divac has 14. Jackson has 13. And Doug Christie has 11. That's not even counting Bibby, who just doesn't have to shoot. 5 guys in double figures for Sacramento.
And Dirk and Steve playing terrible. Mike Finley can't make a shot.
Nash leads the way, and well, Van Exel actually leads the way with 20. Nash is next in line with 15.
3 for 17 on 3-point shooting for the Dallas Mavericks.
That's just not like them, is it?
Statistics, though, for the Sacramento Kings are really going to be meaningless. They're so balanced. They're so deep.
Bobby Jackson rips another one.
And the only challenge for them now is the championship. It's not about making all-star teams. It's not about big contracts. They all have those awards. Now it's about putting it together, that one final piece.
Nash hits another 3. All the 3-pointers, the exception of one of Van Exel's, have come from Steve Nash. Nash has 3 of them. Van Exel has 1. There's the balance that I was just talking about a moment ago. And that doesn't put Bobby Jackson in the mix at 16 points in the ballgame. So 103-79.
When you have 103 points with a minute and a half into the 4th, he's playing pretty well.
Nowitzki pull-up jumper. Right now, Dallas is just going to try to find its stroke a little bit because they're strangled by this ball game.
Christie and the Kings would just be content to trade baskets. An offensive foul. Keon Clark just clearing the way, trying to create a lane for Doug Christie. Unnecessarily. You can get whatever you want against this porous Dallas defense.
The 36 points as Bobby Jackson gets a steal right in front of us and takes it in. Tipped in by Christie.
So you finally force him to miss a layup, and then you can't even get a rebound.
Billows 36 points in the third quarter by Sacramento, their highest playoff quarter so far.
This year or all time?
This year. Nowitzki spinning and foul.
How about the turnovers? The Mavericks in the regular season set an NBA record for fewest turnovers per game. In the playoffs, they had 1 more. Tonight, they already have 12, and they're well on their way to probably 20 plus.
And that wasn't just an oddity. They were #1 last year in fewest turnovers, too. Back-to-back seasons of being the highest scoring team and the lowest in turnovers, and they're not doing either one of those tonight. Finley for 3.
Throw it deep. Mike Bibby had a chance over the top. They're going to jump this one up. Don Nelson always says that, yeah, we're not a good rebounding team. We don't need to rebound because we shoot the ball so well. But when you're not shooting the ball well, that's when you got to fall back on the other things. And they just don't have the personnel. They can dig it out when the shots aren't falling.
There's a field goal percentage. Mavericks at 44. Keep in mind, Sacramento was #1 in the league in field goal defense. Here's Bobby Jackson on the break and fouled by Abdul-Wahid.
That is horrendous defense on the jump ball.
Let's check in with D.A.
Hello, guys.
Hello, David.
So, America needs to know what was going on with Oprah today. Well, how'd that deal go for you?
Oh, that was nice. We were in Chicago, and we were on the Oprah show, and it'll be airing May 16th.
Yeah.
She's a nice lady.
Was she nosy?
No, she was all right. She's all right. We had a nice little skit that we did in Sacramento, but what a great lady and a great show.
Chris Webber told us at halftime he doesn't care about anything but winning a championship. He doesn't care about winning in the first round or winning in the second round or any of that. He said that right now they're no better than a junior high school team. They're trying to win something. You get that sense watching him this year?
I think they were committed all summer. They came to camp in great shape, and we have a goal, and that's to win the whole thing this year. They're really committed.
How have you got, is this as impressed as you've been with your team so far this season?
This is a great game that we're playing. I mean, this is probably one of the better games I've seen us play. We came out with great defensive intensity. Our offense is clicking. Everybody's focused, and we got one target. That's to win it all.
Can you guys buy Cuban some clothes? I mean, just like a nice suit or something. Just a little, something so he looks a little different when he comes out.
Yeah, I'll get him a nice suit.
Oh, you know some people.
Yeah, I have a few I know. I'll get him something really nice. I'll make sure that the tie's yellow.
Back to you guys.
All right. Gavin and Joe, part of the Maloof clan, with George Jr., Phil, and Adrian, and Mom is here. Colleen is here.
My guess that an interview with Mark Cuban at this time wouldn't be quite as lively.
I don't think I'd want to stick a microphone in his face right now. You might end up swallowing it.
The pain of losing. Sitting next to Popeye Jones there. This is tough for Mark.
Done such a great job helping put this Dallas team together, filling up this arena. It's a great place to watch a game. Even the timeouts, everything is about entertainment. And tonight it just hasn't been quite entertaining enough for this Dallas team that had to fight through a 7-game series against Portland to get here. And 48 hours later, go up against a buzzsaw named Sacramento.
Are they going to be rested enough? Are they going to be able to improve enough by Thursday night?
I was just going to ask you that. As a matter of fact, thought crossed my mind.
Steve Nash and Dirk Nowitzki should not play basketball at all between now and Thursday night. Just rest, think about something different, get fresh.
And Exo doesn't get the roll. Bobby Jackson, who's got 21 points now in the ball game. And timeout.
But a bigger question is how Don Nelson is going to get something out of Rafe LaFrentz and Sean Bradley, because tonight there was absolutely the donut.
ESPN's presentation of the NBA playoffs, brought to you by Taco Bell. Think outside the bun. And Chevy, the cars you can depend on, the cars that last. We'll be there.
Well, game one between the Pistons and Sixers now in history. Show you some of the highlights. Allen Iverson, decent game, Greg Anthony, had 27 points, but 8 of 21 from the floor.
Well, he didn't play as well in the second half, but more importantly, where was Keith Van Horn, Eric Snow, Kenny Thomas? None of those guys had good games.
That was Mehmet Okur. He had 16 points in the game, 7 of 7 from the floor. Rip Hamilton chipped in with 25 points. Game one, a 98-87 victory for the Pistons, but there are concerns. Is Chauncey Billups' ankle going to be okay? Thursday, a pair of games. These same 4 teams go at it again. Hopefully the Kings and Mavs can pull it together, or at least the Mavs.
Injuries aren't a problem here. The only thing hurts the Mavericks' feelings right now because they're getting clobbered 110-85 as we take a look at our Chevy Trucks game track. Here's how it looks. Sacramento, Chris Webber just dominated anything he's wanted to do. Stojakovic 19 points, 59% as a team. They're shooting. Nowitzki 16 and 9, but it really hasn't mattered. And the bottom part is probably the biggest thing. That's what Bill was harping on early in the ball game, and with good reason. LaFrentz and Bradley have produced nothing.
Well, how about the fact that in the Philadelphia game, that as a team they got 87 points? That's just not going to get it done. Philadelphia, they've got to wake up.
Webber, again, the nice pass to Keon Clark this time.
This has been a passing clinic by Chris Webber.
That's 6 players in double figures now, as Webber has 8 assists, 6 guys in double figures for Sacramento.
I'm shocked that Chris Webber's still in the game. It must be just a conditioning period for him right now.
I don't know. He's been our mad skills performer. We'll check that a little bit later. He got the 5th foul there.
His
He's
skills,
still wondering where it came from.
His skills have made Don Nelson and Del Harris very mad tonight.
No doubt.
But because you look at Chris Webber, who can't run fast anymore, often gets beat in transition, can't jump high anymore.
Admittedly, he says that. We don't have to just say that for him.
And you got Rafe LaFrentz and Sean Bradley, who are young, healthy, can run up and down the court. And Chris Webber has just teased them with his mind, his heart, and his soul tonight.
25-point Kings lead, 7.5 to play in the 4th quarter. Here from Dallas in game 1. Western Conference semifinals. Dirk Nowitzki with a rebound. Nowitzki and Nash in there with 7:20 to go with Van Exel, Abdul Wahed, and Raja Bell. Abdul Wahed. Ooh, can hear that one way over here.
It just hurts.
Yeah, that one. That's
you watch the shots go up from some of these guys, and you say, what are they thinking?
Off the inbound, Nowitzki, and the pass from Nash.
Now that guy needs to shoot more. How many shot attempts has he taken tonight?
That is his 14th, I think. 13th.
You don't need to be like Kobe and take 38. I'm jealous.
Bobby Jackson. Rebounded by Webber. No look pass to Jackson. He didn't go up with it. They'll use a little time here. We're under 7 minutes in the game. There's a double team on Jackson. Webber moves it around. Clark out to Jimmy Jackson.
This is just too easy.
Here's Nash on the break. Steve Nash with 20 points. These gave the fans something to cheer about momentarily at the 6.5-minute mark.
But the Dallas Mavericks have not extracted any sort of price from the Sacramento Kings. They just waltz through any aspect of their game. And generally when you're getting hammered, you want to make the other team pay for it.
Chris Webber takes a 3. You don't see many of those during the course of a year. Here comes Van Exel. Van Exel and Nash and Nowitzki have been the 3 offensively tonight. Michael Finley has not had a good game. Abdul Wahed with his 2nd field goal. Bill, 6 minutes left. You know, what do you do with your Dallas? What do they want to accomplish? What's important to them? It doesn't look like they have any hope of coming back and winning this first game.
You try to find a rhythm. You try to find a level of confidence. But you're so fatigued physically and mentally. Question and the dilemma that Don Nelson has is, does he take his guys out and rest them as he did in game 6 against Portland? Or it looks like he's going to try to let them play through it right now.
And right now, a couple of the starters are out there in Nash and Nowitzki, and they're in a big hole with 5:36 remaining. Back in Dallas, our Miller Lite storyline. Sad story for Dallas, great story for Sacramento. Bobby Jackson off the bench has 21 points, your 6th man of the year in the NBA. King starters have 77. Nash has 20. The 3-point shooting has not been good for Dallas. And Bill and I talked a little bit going to the break about what Dallas needs to do in the last 5.5 minutes. Here's what Don Nelson told them they had to do in the next 5.5 minutes.
Try to get your rhythm for the next game.
Got to get the rhythm for the next game. That's what you said, is if he leaves the starters out there trying to work their way through it. Some of them are. Nash has sat down now, but LaFrentz and Finley are out there.
It's so sad for Don Nelson, who is so close and has been part of two of the toughest and most brilliant teams in the history of basketball. He was on Bill Russell's Celtic championship teams. He was on Dave Cowan's, John Havlicek's Celtic championship team. And this is a good team, Dallas, but it's not a complete team. It's not a great team. And what they have to do is find some way to compete with the Sacramento squad that at this point is just toying with their little brothers.
Van Exel's had another good game, but it hasn't been enough. Finley has been off tonight. Michael still stuck on 9 points. Mavericks had cut the lead down to 9 in the final minute of the first half. And then the Kings took off again. And Bibby hit that shot right before the halftime buzzer. And that seemed to have taken most of the starch out of the Mavericks shirts. And Stojakovic is over 20 now. He's got 21. Weber's got 24. Jackson's got 21. Wow.
He got 114 points with almost 5 minutes to go. Rick Adelman is still standing up.
He just didn't want to get in Aldridge's way, that's all.
I want to see Rick go sit down between Joe and Gavin.
Great pass by Bobby Jackson, and Stojakovic up off the glass with a reverse.
There's Rick walking up and down the sideline.
Roger Bell hits a three.
Go ahead, Rick. Go ahead, Rick. Sit right down. Sit right down. Put your arm around the guy and say, yeah, today we did it.
Bobby Jackson thinking about that last pass. Is there a King that's played that hasn't had a pass that's just been sensational tonight in one form or another? And Stojakovic now just kind of warming up here in the fourth quarter.
But the thing about the playoffs is the same thing with San Antonio. At the end of this game, it's like being ahead at the first quarter.
30 assists. There's the passing we were just talking about on 43 field goals. Not too bad, huh?
And as Flip Saunders told us in the last series, there's nothing more meaningless than being ahead at halftime.
Yeah, that's right. Under 3.5 now. It's 119-100. Bobby Jackson stops in his tracks and delivers.
They're getting hotter
instead of colder.
Yeah,
I know.
It's not as if they've lost their interest. 23 points on the night for Bobby Jackson, who didn't even start. 8 for 15 shooting. Yikes.
That's why he's 6th man of the year. He could be a lot of people's a lot higher than 6th.
And
here he comes up with a steal. Coming down 3-on-3. And that time he's going to be guilty of the foul. But the passing and the shooting, everything working. Here's Bobby Jackson's last effort. Watch Stojakovic. How easy is that?
Too sweet.
2:54 remaining. It's a 21-point Sacramento lead.
Time for our Doctor's Defender's Edge, and no mystery here, Greg Anthony, which team gets the award.
I tell you, the Kings, they played great defense. They held the Mavericks to just over 100 points. That's pretty damn good.
11 steals for the Kings, and maybe Dallas should contact Dockers and get the Doctor's Defender's Edge. Hey, log on to ESPN.com and vote for the Doctor's Defender's Edge.
Back here, 2:54 remaining. It's 121-100. Don't forget, a lot of action coming up this week. NBA on TV tomorrow. On TNT, it's New Jersey-Boston Game 2. Then the Lakers and San Antonio will follow at 9:30. Thursday on ESPN, Philadelphia and Detroit. Detroit with a 1-game lead after that victory tonight at 7. Sacramento and Dallas. Bill and DA and I will have that one for you at 9:30. And then Sunday on ABC will be in Staples Center as the Lakers in Game 4 against San Antonio at 3 o'clock start.
Speaking of that San Antonio series, do you think that Tony Parker and Steven Jackson will play any better tomorrow?
I don't know. Can you play any better than this? Tonight, 58% almost for the Kings field goal shooting. Remember Game 6? Portland tied their playoff high against Dallas in a pitiful Dallas performance that night defensively, and now they're having the same thing done to them by the Kings.
Well, Portland shot 59-8.
Right.
Tied a 26-year-old record for excellence on the offensive end, and tonight we have seen it. So 2 out of the last 3 games have been record-setting performances by the Maverick opponents.
In playoff percentage from the field, yeah.
Oh, Scott Pollard sighting.
Yep, he just
didn't recognize him there with the new look.
He's got the blonde thing going on.
And no facial hair.
No side mutton chops, nothing. It's a very clean summer look. And their summer's going to start earlier. They don't start playing better than they did tonight. Finley finally hits a three.
I'm surprised that Rick Adelman leaves Scott Pollard on the bench against Dallas so regularly. The one game that Dallas won, Scott Pollard didn't play at all, which is mind-boggling.
Our Sprite mad skills. Take a look at the guy that is. Bill said he'd make you mad if you had to play against him because he did everything. Outside jumper, spinning to the baseline against Nowitzki. Look at that one-hand pass. That might be our favorite of the night. Our Sprite Man skills performer, Chris Webber.
But there were so many to pick from.
Yeah.
I mean, the wraparound behind the back cuts to Doug Christie, the jump hooks. Chris Webber, 9 assists on the night. Beautiful display of how to play basketball as the lead player.
Chris averaged against Dallas this year 9 assists, double figures in rebounds and points. Over 20 points, over 10 rebounds, and almost 9 assists. And there you see he's almost done the same thing again tonight.
24 points on only 15 shot attempts. Terrific.
We didn't even think he was going to play the second quarter there for a while. He came in with about 5 minutes left in the half after the 13-point explosion in the first quarter. Finley takes a step back and delivers a three. So Michael Finley, 8 points in the quarter, 17 for the game, but down to 1:15 left. And it's a 13-point game that is not that close.
Some of the fans have left remarkably.
They gave it their all on Sunday, and they gave it their all before this game and tried to hang with it. And now Walt Williams and Lawrence Funderburk doing a little chatting after that foul.
Lawrence Funderburk is a key member of this squad. This guy can play. Rarely gets time. But along with Gerald Wallace and Hedo Turkoglu, the deep guys on this bench, and they just add a whole other dimension. That the only team in the league that comes close to this kind of depth is San Antonio.
San Antonio with a one-game lead on the Lakers after their win last night as Lawrence Funderburk at the free throw line.
But Funderburk can give you all kinds of things. He can give you scoring, rebounding, defense, block some shots. Plus, he's a tough guy who likes to get physical.
Lawrence got the second. He and his wife Manya became parents to a new baby girl, Naya, recently, so he's a new daddy. And a whistle and a foul inside as Roger Bell was on the drive.
Nick Van Exel not too pleased. Looks like he wants to go back to his apartment and close the drapes again.
That's right. Get in the darkness again. So there's a look at the series, what's coming up. And we'll see game 2 Thursday.
Yeah. And right now, the Mavericks are desperately searching for the person who can take the dark out of the nighttime. Tough night for Dirk.
He had 18 points, but inconsequential 18.
How about the fact that they just came out dead to start the third quarter? You would think that they would have one little bit of push. Treat these fans to something that they paid a lot of hard-earned money for.
45 seconds left in the ball game as Sacramento is going to steal the road victory. Christie over Williams.
What a pass.
Funderburk underneath had the rebound and lost it. And now Bell coming down court with.
That's not right. That's Tariq Abdul-Wahed.
He got ahead on the break. He's got 10 points off the bench. And now Bell with the foul of Turkoglu.
This is what's so frustrating about playing at the end of these blowout games. Is that the refs don't want to blow their whistle.
Right, they were going to leave it alone.
The games get out of control, and you look bad. You have a chance of getting injured. People think you can't play.
So now we walk it down on Hedo Turkoglu, who, as I mentioned earlier, averaged over 10 points a game last year and good enough to play a lot of minutes for a lot of teams. But Rick Adelman's squad's so deep that he doesn't see that much time.
And the question is, will he stick around? Rick Adelman still up there coaching away. Maybe his back is sore. He just can't sit down.
You know, when you're on the road, you're in a strange bed. You know, it could be something like that. A special edition of NBA Tonight, a special 1-hour edition follows our ball game, which is 25 seconds from finishing.
Now, will Tim Legler do that?
I'm not sure.
Greg Anthony, Freddie Carter.
Those guys have worked hard tonight.
Hey, they do a good job in there.
And I think you're right. All those guys will be along. Michael Finley now has the most unlikely 20 points he's maybe ever had in his career. And it's an 11-point win for Sacramento. First time ever Sacramento in a 7-game series to start a series on the road has won one.
Wow, first time ever?
First time since they were way back in the Kansas City Kings.
Well, that doesn't count.
That doesn't count. They win tonight easily. 124-113 is the final. Coming up next, NBA Tonight. Thanks for being with us from Dallas. We'll see if the Mavericks can even it off on Thursday night. Right now for Bill Walton and David Aldridge, Brad Nessler from American Airlines Center in Dallas. Good night.